I saw Rich Eisen. My bad. Sorry, Rich Eisen and Josh Pate. They were talking about how old these teams were. Well, Rich Eisen asked Josh Pate, Indiana, they're an old team, because of all the transfers and that COVID year or whatever. So you have a lot of 5 and 6 year guys on the roster of Indiana, and then Josh Pate hit him with, Carson Beck. He's like a 7 year guy, because he's in the class of C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young and some other guys, and so he should like, Carson should be in the league. When you put it in that perspective, it's like, dang, like your counterparts in the NFL, bro. Like it's kind of iffy, but like make your bag and all the other stuff. But Carson just looked a little weird. Not weird, but it's just like, he can tell like his. ah, ah, mm, I don't want to do this, but it's like the same thing with Georgia, that standoffish thing, like Russell Wilson, that quarterback mentality when the reports were coming out, he doesn't hang out with the team. I see that a lot in Carson Beck. I feel like, but I feel like the team does embrace him at Miami and they love him. But it's like, you see some things that where it's like, hey, you read the body language and all that, after the game and all the other stuff. So. But Carson, shout out Carson. He good quarterback. He seemed like a good dude. Been through a lot of battle. Uh, you know what I'm saying? But it's just I feel like it's just a little bit the quarterback mantra. That Carson Beck got it, and you see a little, the not the same thing with Russell Wilson, but just the standoffish stuff. So.
State brought back a lot of guys. They were an older team. Do you think that's a coincidence, or when you're bringing in guys like Keontae Scott, he's older. Mo Torre is older. Mesidor was proven and older when he came in. Your entire offensive line, Carson Beck, those were all older guys. So do you think that's a coincidence? Are you doing that on purpose? And then when you get Malachi Tony, this superstar freshman young kid, like how does he mix in? How do the freshmen? How do the younger guys?
You think the like I don't know, like I feel like Mesidor could even be calling Carson Beck or like he ain't really backing. Like I feel like the younger players are calling Carson Beck and it kind of Carson don't say nothing. This is just my speculation, but I feel like Carson don't say nothing when they call him and he's just laughing it off, and Messidor don't say nothing too. Like, hey, don't it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, that standoffish shit.
Mix into this older
I don't know.
regime kind
I
of that
just
you
give
have?
him.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I think we have a very unique combination. Like, I think we have the right blend of older guys, experienced guys, guys that have been around for a couple of years, and then some young elite talent, and they all mesh really, really well together. We do believe that
Like, I know their line is probably older too, and they've been there. I know Carson's a transfer in, so that could be the little part of it too. A lot of those guys have been there or have probably been around, like have been from the area of like Miami or Florida, so they probably know the guys and seen them grow up and all that other stuff. So I don't know, that speculation I had, that could be like totally wrong. I just want to throw that out there. This team's rocking. They rock behind Carson Beck, so shout out them.
the core of your team, the
Your team
nose
has a
tackle.
lot of
I don't
didn't
want to get
pound Gorilla
copyrighted. I don't
maybe
want to
off
take
of
no
his back
chances.
in
You
that
know what I'm saying?
exact moment because of everything he's kind of been through. And I said on game day,
I
and
probably
Tone
already
Diggs
been
and I kind of talked
copyrighted,
about
but
it heading into college game day. They're talking about
that was
storylines that
crazy.
potentially can come out of this.
Uh, that running, bro. Look at that. My God, bro. Look at that stadium, bro. That is crazy. That'd feel dummy for Carson, bro. That moment for Carson, bro. Solidified 18 seconds left in the fourth. That was an insane moment for them.
Particular playoff run for these teams. It's like the rise, fall, and rise again of Carson Beck could potentially be the case. Tell me about Carson Beck, your quarterback, what you've seen from him, and
He's he's not an NFL quarterback. I feel like he's a backup. Stenson Bennett. It's just the interceptions, bro. Like that SMU game, still like it's gonna cost. Like if it's a regular season game, you know what I'm saying? Like what's gonna happen or something like that? Can that be improving on? When he goes to the NFL, I don't know what's a good team for him right now. Maybe just being a backup waiting his turn. I say somewhere like in Indianapolis could use him. The Colts. I see like the Colts could probably use somebody like him. Proven. He could be there, like he can go in there, early, probably be a starter early and get you some wins if Anthony Richardson's not ready. And then cause who is their plan this year? Daniel Jones. Yeah, so like maybe re-sign Daniel because he's not on the contract this year. I don't know. He might be, but I draft Carson. If Daniel gets hurt, he can step in there. So but that moment must have been that was dummy. I was jumping up and down for Carson when that moment
Kind of the
happened.
whole year that was with him as your quarterback. Because whenever he goes to your place, and obviously it's outside the building, there's a lot of drama immediately about Carson Beck. You know what? I think he gets his car robbed. I think a lot of other things happen. People start burying him. You guys lose. You guys lose a couple. You aren't perfect. It's like this guy stinks, and then all he does is seemingly just keep showing up like the rest of your squad. Can you tell me about your quarterback a little bit? And
I think it's not about more of the quarterback either. It's about the offensive coordinator too, knowing what Carson Beck's limits are, what his comfortabilities are, and like honing in on those, like the short passes. If a big play comes open, he does it, he gets it. But it's setting up the big play though, like run. Little short passes here and there, and set up the big play. So, but yeah, it's definitely the offensive coordinator and knowing what Carson Beck's strengths are. So I think Mario Cristobal knows that too. Let's see what his answer
the
is.
decision to bring him and now where you're at?
Well, if you watch film on him in 23, like it's off the charts. He's ripping it all over the place and leading that team to
Yeah.
high level victories and a great season. And in 24, it just seemed that offensively, they were, and a great team. Obviously, they've been outstanding for a while, but you could tell they were off offensively. There were some guys down on the offensive line. Protection wasn't holding up as it was before. And then the receivers, there wasn't a connection there. And then he gets blasted and gets hurt. We had enough people that knew of him. The background check was awesome, and he's like an elite human being and elite competitor, and he's got elite traits, and he's got a lot of experience. And we felt
Carson's all about ball too. You can tell Carson Beck's all about ball. So it's a good trait when they say the background check and all the other stuff. So I think background check, I think that was probably saying a little bit about the rumors about what was going on at the time, him in Georgia, why he left Georgia, why Georgia didn't want him back. Yeah. So
that if we could surround them with the right offensive line, the right pieces outside, and a strong running game, that he could get back to elite form. So the guy's awesome. The guy could give a rat's what about all the outside noise and people talking. And I think that's kind of it rubs off on his teammates. They're cut of the same cloth, right? The same type of DNA. So this guy's been nothing but awesome for the University of Miami, and I'm really happy for him that he's continuing to push on and have an opportunity to go get another 1-0 because again, that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about personal accolades and awards and all that stuff. He just wants to win. So fired up for the guy.
Yeah, your wide receiver crew is awesome. Marion Daniels, Malachi, and then obviously you add in Fletcher and
Marion's a
Brown
dog
and
too. That catch he
offensive line
made.
that has 6'9". Is that what Bell is? If I recall, 6'9" on the.
Yep, 6'9", 6'9".
And then I think you got what?
Absolutely massive O linemen, and they're all there. I think a lot of them were there last year when Cam Ward was quarterback. I don't know why they couldn't get it done in the Pop Tart Bowl or nothing. I saw Cam Ward on the sidelines. He gonna be a Miami legend forever. But it's just like, dang, like if you got a bowl win, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good.
6'6", 6'5", 6'6", and then like 6'.